Hi, welcome to a God vlog. I'm going to be talking about Jesus' wide embrace. Jesus spent his life knocking down any and all barriers and brought into his community all manner of people as equals to be loved. And he did this openly and he did it unashamedly. He proclaimed it as the good news, as God's kingdom breaking in. And he did this to save each person in all of the world from their lesser way of being. And the early church made this inclusiveness part and parcel of its work. And the best example, I think, is the story in Acts where Philip brings into the church an Ethiopian eunuch. This Ethiopian eunuch fellow was unlike anyone else we heard of in the Jesus following. He was a black, transgendered foreigner with money and royal connections. In those respects, he was as far from being like the brown-skinned peasant Jesus followers as you could probably get. But none of that mattered. He was like them in that he was human and desired to follow Jesus and to bring love into the world. And so he got into the early church. And the story matches up well with Paul's efforts to bring in Gentiles into the Jesus following, and God's commandment to Peter in Acts to call no one profane or unclean. The early church proudly brought in the vast rainbow of people that Jesus taught them to welcome and embrace, and the rainbow of people God made. And since Jesus and the early church did this, why would we as a church not now welcome, love, and honor all too, just as they are? The Jesus radical embrace has got me thinking a lot about what it means to welcome all. In that rainbow of people that God made, there are, of course, not just heterosexual and non-heterosexual. There's not just blacks and browns and whites and rich and poor and male and female and Jew and Greek and slave and free. Accepting all, taking it to its logical conclusion, means accepting equally into and a part of Jesus' community everyone. And think about it. This also means folks from other religions, atheists, liberals, conservatives, children, unbaptized, radio talk show hosts, criminals, bad actors, and of course Greeks and slaves and free and male and females. You name it. Heterosexual, non-heterosexual, black, white, brown, yellow, red, it doesn't matter. They are all in. What would church look like if there was not one barrier, not one? What would it be like? All types of folks gathered with mutual respect to bring more love into the world, to help save it and one another. And by saved, I don't mean in the afterlife, but in the nowness of life on earth, presently and in the future. I bet a great many, besides people in my church and people that I know, maybe even most American Christians would welcome the chance to welcome all and no longer exclude and be rude to neighbors on Sunday. Seriously, the rainbow of people Jesus welcomed puts churches in a remarkable place that and position to be church that is the locale or the facilitator, like Jesus was, of a real melting pot for peace, where, to paraphrase Paul, in Christ there's no longer any difference. What if in that, to mix metaphors, rainbow melting pot, we teach and allow others to love by whatever theistic or non-theistic nature people name love, and teach and act out loving our neighbors and even our enemies. If we take Matthew 25 seriously, where acts of love are what matters, then love does not appear to care what we call it, only that we love it and love too. What if together, in the rainbow melting pot of all who gather in the name of love, we then took care of the poor and the sick and the stranger and the imprisoned, and we sought justice and loved kindness, and we're just humble about the love that we love? And what if we all blessed the peacemakers, and then we just prayed or meditated about love and justice and peace, and then sang and then basked in the glory of the oneness that we are? I think if we did all that, if we could somehow pull that off as church, we'd have what Jesus called the kingdom of heaven breaking in. I believe that's what we're called to do. My name is Reverend Scott Elliott. I'm the pastor at Riviera United Church of Christ. Thank you for joining me today. Go in peace, knowing that you are loved and that you